It's Thursday edition of Morning Ride on Delta Television. How are you doing today? Sure you are picking fine. To God be the glory for another opportunity for us to be together on a day like this on air, where we'll bring to you program segments that will inform, enlighten, and of course educate you. My name is Vivian Nkechika. You can see I'm smiling. I'm almost smiling childishly because she's here. She's back. My Palion said,
Like I
"Minnie
never
the best."
Good
See the way
morning.
if you see this girl, she's not. Why are you not looking as fine as? I mean, you see her on ground there. She's so cute, so pretty. But she has got to enjoy all the money in. Man, not call where she's coming
Please,
from.
don't call where I'm coming
Let me just
from.
mention the name.
So I'm able to go
But
back.
living the best, do they have you? How are
Yes,
you?
thank you so much. Good to be back. I'm fine. Hey, you look beautiful. You know, when you came in, I saw your hair. I was like, oh, this hair is so nice. It's like
different.
it's just different.
The
Not
cultural,
like
you know, we
the-
had a cultural carnival for children on
yeah,
Children's Day.
yeah.
So I decided to do something cultural for my hair. And that's what I have. I don't want to I spent money doing this. So let it see more. Let it
Look
work
at-
its money.
That's
to
the
see.
African mentality. When you spend money doing something, you just don't want to
Let's say,
leave
wow,
that thing.
let it work its money. Okay.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lilibeth Ugochukwu, and this is Thursday's edition of Morning Ride. It's the sixth day in the month of June. Wow, we're already in June. I'm so glad. I'm so excited.
Middle of the month.
Before
of the
you know,
year.
we'll be singing Merry Christmas and then we'll be kissing 2024 goodbye. But so
Exactly.
far, so good. It's been wonderful and it's been good all the way with everything that happened, all the hiccups, the running around, just everything. But we are still basking strong in the euphoria of God's blessings. Yeah, so today we have few celebration nationwide, national celebration.
Okay.
Yeah, just few, so I'm going to pick just two.
All right.
And the first one is the National Higher Education Day. National Higher Education Day. We know that education is very important. Some people say education is not important. They claim
Yeah, it's
school
a
is a
scam.
scam.
Nahi
But
kebab.
school is not a scam. At least there are some little things you need to know, like how to express yourself, how to carry yourself, you know. Those are
That's
the
some
things you
basics,
learn.
yeah.
The basics. Those are the things you really need to learn when you're in school. And the way you reason, sometimes when you reason with someone that is not educated, it's quite different,
different.
from someone that's educated. So I'm going to take a little on that. It says National Education Day recognizes the importance of education in improving our lives. Yeah, in improving our lives. That's to say that education actually has a way of improving our lives. You don't have to stay adamant on so many things. Now, Higher Education Day is celebrated on June 6th every year to recognize the importance of education in improving our lives. To excel in your dream jobs, it is important to have the latest knowledge in that field, which can be attained through higher education. Now, millions of young and old people take time out on this day to make plans to get a higher education and think about the options that they have been researching, scholarships, potential career choices, and even doing a bit of job shadowing. Yes. So, Education Day was founded by Izama Olaguez and Mercy Honis in 2015. The main purpose behind celebrating this day is to motivate students to pursue higher education and make college fees affordable for all.
I think I like that aspect, making
College
fee
fee.
affordable
Yes,
for all. Because
but-
another thing that's an impediment to education
Yes,
is
the
the
fee.
cost of going to school. So if
Yeah.
it could be made affordable for all, fine, it makes it better. When we're advocating for education for all, we should also consider making the fee affordable for all.
But if you check these days, the fee is actually not affordable anymore. It's going higher and higher. I think it's just in government schools that the primaries go to school free. Yeah.
Only in some, not even every.
Okay, only in some. You
Yes.
see, so it's really a challenge to some persons. You know, some persons will tell you that I've not eaten, I've not done this, I'm going to school.
And for
I
us, of
better
course, for you
look
to be
for
able to
business.
concentrate in class, I mean, to listen to your teachers teach, and you are hungry, it would not be possible. So for you to be able to concentrate, you need that food
Yeah.
in your system to give you
Yeah.
that stamina.
You need to
you
be
need to
balanced.
absorb what you are being taught.
Yeah.
Without that, I mean, as man is teaching, it's just flying left, right, off your
Center.
brain. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. All right. So it says the federal government signed the Higher Education Act in 1965. Now, the main purpose of signing this act was to improve the higher education programs of educational institutions in the U.S. and offer monetary assistance to students who are unable to afford their college fees. I think in some Western climes, they still do that. They pay students, right?
Yes. Mm.
So this is just to help to assist the child or the student to see education as very important. The government really do not want to hear that money or fee is an impediment,
yeah.
you know, to attaining higher education. So education is very important. Education is key, and we need to be educated. It goes a long way. It goes a long way.
Education, not just,
that's why when people
yes.
attain some political seats,
Yes.
you see some persons coming out to say, he didn't go to school,
go to
show us
school."
your degree.
Yes.
That's because education is very important. You cannot be an olodo and you want to come lead some people. You know, people actually look down on you.
Exactly.
So please, let's key into education.
And in summary, education is not a scam.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we have people who are not really educated, amassing all the wealth through other means. Still, if you come to a point where you need to show that, yes, that's the education you don't have, it will spoil things for you. For example, you are asked to come do an address, make a speech, address a crowd, and you are meddling up everything. At the point, you see people...
past tense, present tense,
you know, you see
pushing them
people
together.
they're doing side talks up and down. At the end of the day, your money at that point in time will no longer make sense, will
Yeah.
be valueless to the people you are talking to, especially an environment where you have educated persons.
Persons, yeah.
Yes. All right, what next are we celebrating?
Okay, we're
today?
celebrating visually impaired people. Yeah.
Mm.
Today is a day set aside for the visually impaired people. It's actually called the Visually Impaired People's Day. Now, Visually Impaired People Day creates awareness about the needs of people with vision loss and impairment. It says the Visually Impaired People's Day is annually observed on June 6. It brings attention to people with vision impairment or loss and hopes to create supportive ecosystems for them. The day also spreads awareness about the feelings of isolation visually impaired people often struggle with and aims to help others understand and empathize with these people's struggles. Visually impaired people, that's the blind. Yeah, I really cannot say this is what they are going through, because sometimes when I just shut my eyes, there was a day I tried doing this experiment. I shut my eyes, you know, for some few minutes, and gosh, I wasn't comfortable. And I told myself, how do these people, how do they feel?
Grappling for ways and all that. But you know one thing about God, I think I haven't seen that they have these challenges. He has not made their older organs so sensitive.
Yeah.
Now you could see a blind person trying to find his or her way, and he or she hears a voice. Ordinarily, you might not, you as someone who can see, might not know that that's the person. If without hearing a voice, the smell of that person, and this person will say, "Oh, this is Vivian passing.
Yeah.
This is Vivian passing. This is person passing."
Yeah,
You can
that's
easily
true.
identify people by their smell. What ordinarily we who can see cannot actually perceive and all that. And in other areas where they are so intelligent, we have some few around here, and they're so intelligent, doing wonderfully well, married with children.
Yes.
You know, and you wonder how they do it. But it's God that does it for them. And we want to encourage people who have such persons in their family not to abandon them to
At
their
all.
fate. They are not the ones who made themselves like that. They could go to school. You can make them go to school. They have schools for the visually impaired. They could learn. They can become someone great in life, affecting their lives positively, and of course the society at large. So we should not see them as a burden. Just allow them, give them that free hand to live like normal human beings. And they should not be discriminated against.
At
the
all.
public. You shouldn't say, "Oh, you're in an office, this person is visually impaired. I mean, I shouldn't have anything to do with him or her." When it comes to maybe scheme of things, maybe leadership in some positions, give them a free hand to be part of things in life. So that they don't even get frustrated more than their condition may have put them, so to say, yes.
Yeah, and if you watch those people, they are also very friendly. They're very, very friendly persons when you get to know them. And we also have a school of visually impaired people.
Yeah, they have schools.
They have their own schools. Okay, I stumbled upon a video sometime, And I think late last month, and I saw them singing, playing drums, keyboards. It was a beautiful
So you're
sight to
wondering
behold.
how did they see these things they are playing with?
And they were singing, and the others were dancing. It was, I think it was called the blind. Is it a blind church or something?
Okay.
Yeah, we were praising God. Now, if those people who cannot see can actually be grateful and they praise God,
How
with
much
all
more?
their hearts, you could see the happiness. When you watch that video, you will shed tears, because if they can do that, what about you that have your sight? You have everything complete. You cannot
Exactly.
praise God, and you still complain. What are you complaining about? You can see the sun. You can tell when it's day and when it's night.
They
But
can't
they
tell.
cannot tell when
It's
it's
same
it's
all
night,
round,
it's
day in,
day.
day out, year in,
It's
year
always
out.
night for them, you know, and they need other senses to be able to move, to be able to identify things. So if they can actually praise God, who are we that can see? Who are we that we cannot praise God? So it's a day set aside to actually appreciate them. You can take out time to see them, you know, let them know that yes, we care. Because sometimes they feel discriminated. Like
Yeah.
people do not want to associate with them. But one good thing is that majority of them actually get married. You see them, they're married and they have children. They're happy with their family.
They are working.
You know, they are working. You know, that's a very beautiful one. But you see some that they just want to, they want people to feel pity for them. You see them on the road
I
begging
think
and stuff.
those ones, it has to do with their orientation, where they are
Yeah.
coming from, their background, their
Mhm.
families. Perhaps they have been abandoned. They
Yeah.
have not been shown the right path to follow
I
in
think
life,
so.
and they end up becoming.
I think so.
Should I say nuisance? Let me not use
No.
the word nuisance, but they end up becoming so dependent on people,
On people, yeah.
whereas they are supposed to be independent as
Yeah.
normal persons and all
Yeah.
that.
That's
Their impairment shouldn't be an impediment to their success in life. Look at the likes of Kobam. You know, there's one other blind guy. I can't remember his name. I've forgotten. He's an international musician. He did Heal the World with the likes of Michael Jackson and all that.
Okay,
I
okay.
can't remember
Yeah,
his name.
yeah, yeah.
He's blind,
Yeah.
but he's doing well. He's so popular. He's a celebrity and all that. So it shouldn't be an impediment. I mean, visual
Even
impairment
the guy
should
from
not
Ghana that Flavor picked, that
exactly
little boy.
that little boy.
His voice is something
alone,
else.
You know, he was
Yeah.
picked out from the crowd.
Yes,
when he did the
he
performance
was picked
also
out, yes.
during one children's program in church in Ghana, and he was picked out. So we should
And if you
encourage.
see the boy now, he's so big.
He's so big
and so
and all
cute.
that. So we should encourage these children to become better persons in life, not just abandoning them to their fate. Because it's how you bring them up, how you treat them, how you make them feel about themselves, that
Yeah.
they continue feeling about themselves. Some that could even lead to their early death, to the early grave, and which is not actually a good one.
Okay,
So
so
they
let's take
have
a
a lot to
little-
contribute to the society.
Yeah. Let's talk a little about the history of visually impaired people. The German Federation of the Blind and Partially Sighted, that's the DBSV abbreviation, is a self-help organization founded in 1912 that aims to help and support people who suffer from diseases that lead to vision loss or those who might be at risk. It also advocates for providing accessibility to visually impaired people in all walks of life, supports the development of assisting devices, promotes inclusive education for partially sighted children, helps in the development of vision support services, and raises awareness about the visually impaired community. The organization represents 150,000 blind and over 500,000 visually impaired people. Now, the DBSV organized the first Visually Impaired People Day in 1998. And since its first observance, Visually Impaired People Day has brought sighted and visually impaired people together to encourage an exchange of ideas. The holiday allows visually impaired and blind people to share their concerns with each other. It allows these people to convey their concerns to the DBSV so the organization can focus on those areas.
Okay.
Now, some persons actually get blind from birth, some because of bad drugs,
But
because of one thing or
Bad
the other,
weather,
maybe
yeah.
injury to the eyes. and they get blind, and that one is even a very pitiable one. You know, once you
You're
can
already
see,
seeing
and the
and,
next
yeah.
you're blind. It's that one is so painful. It's so painful. So please let's look out for them. Let's not discriminate them. Reach out to them, give them a helping hand. If you know any organization that brings these people, these visually impaired people together, and you have anyone in your community or your area, you can introduce that person there. So when they see the same group of persons, you know,
Yes.
they feel
You
at
feel more
home. There's
comfortable.
always, yeah, there's always this family, this feeling of being with their family that they get. So please, let's
That's
join
why some
us
of
together.
them they intermarry,
and
though not the
yeah.
blind marrying a blind. It could be a deaf marrying the
The
blind.
blind.
Yes, something like that. It could be a dumb marrying a blind or a deaf, so to say. But you can never see someone
Too
of the same
blind.
disability
Too
challenge.
blind.
Yes, getting married. Yes.
Okay, so that's it for the day celebration.
All right. I think that those are the two we are taking. Is there any other one?
No.
Okay.
That's the two we are taking.
All right. Thank you so
Most
much, Lily.
important.
That again, good to have you back.
Thank you.
That's all we can take on trending issues this morning or celebration this morning. In a moment, we'll bring to you paper headlines analysis. Please go nowhere. Right, thank you so much for still being there. It's Thursday morning ride in case you are just joining us. And it's time for newspaper headlines analysis. And Bunny Akers is here to do justice to this segment of Thursday morning ride. Delivered is still here. Let's make welcome Mr. Bunny. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you, my sister.
So Lilibet will read out the headlines for us from the daily. So over to you, Lilibet.
All right, so let's begin with the Punch newspaper this morning, and the head story on the Punch newspaper says minimum wage. Finance Minister submits template to Tinubu today. Finance Minister submit templates to Tinubu today. $413,000 bribery. Ganduje to get charges through newspapers. Senate okay 60 million naira salary for CJN Supreme Court justices. Heritage Bank, NDIC goes after 700 billion naira loan defaulters. Lists 2.3 million depositors. RCCG suspends transfer city of David's pastor, Ilu Yomade. You want to know the reason why? You can grab a copy of the Punch newspaper. 25 suspected killers of Oyo Varsity students arraigned. Why Yobe recruited repentant Boko Haram insurgents into hybrid force. Okay, so that's all we'll take on the Punch newspaper. Our next paper will be the Vanguard. Okay. The Vanguard newspaper has it on their head story. FG's failure to make fresh offer stalls minimum wage talks. FG's failure to make fresh offer stalls minimum wage talk. Oil price drops below budget benchmark as output stagnates. And on the Aba killings, reps order probe as army dismisses claim of reprisals in southeast. Abuja Kaduna train, vandals reason for derailment. And that story is credited to the NRC. Yeah, we know recently the rails were vandalized, so we'll get to know the story about that when you pick a copy of the Vanguard. Nigeria's current account balances rise by $1.43 billion, and the story is credited to the IMF. Direct entry registration, low turnout worries JAM. U.S. lawmakers petition Biden, say Binance executive wrongfully detained by Nigeria. Passengers stranded as Abuja Kaduna train derails. Journalist Precious Eze detained over report on Lagos-based businessman. Pension group pushes for inflation indexed bonds. Presidential Fiscal Policy Committee recommends cautious borrowing. Okay, and that's all we'll take on the Vanguard newspaper. The Nation newspaper is next. On the probe story, Aero5, ex-commissioners mismanaged 423 billion naira, says Kaduna Assembly. RMAFC backs local government autonomy. NDIC to pay Heritage Bank depositors 650 billion naira this week. Court orders another forfeiture of 11 billion naira property linked to Emefiele. SON OK's 86 standards for CNG projects. Tinubu inaugurates another road in Abuja. Focus more on food security, Basanjo urges governors. Federal government releases approved lyrics for reintroduced national anthem. On the minimum wage, committee adjourns to allow Edun present template. Will secure Binance officials' conviction, says government. Federal government to seal offices not accessible to physically challenged persons. Yeah, but they are humans like us, so why would they be, okay, we'll see. We'll look at that story. We'll look at that story. Sultan directs Muslims to look for crescent of Dhul Hijjah as from today. World Environment Day. Tinubu restates commitment to 25 million tree planting targets. Only those on the APC register will be considered for appointment, says Ganduje. And that's the Nation newspaper. Let's take a look at the Guardian. Cautious optimism as FG unveils new fiscal deals to revive economy. Minimum wage. Talks resume as lawmakers flay labor for hard-hearted strike. Kaduna Assembly indicts Aero5 for 423 billion naira graft and others arrest. On minimum wage, mixed bag over Senate's threats to sanction labor with new law. I have no regret proposing full council autonomy, says Attorney General Fagbemi. Subsidy not gone as FG confirms 5.4 trillion naira spent on petrol. Insecurity hampers rescue of trapped Niger miners. Appraising Fubara's one-year footprints in rivers. Court orders substituted service on Ganduje in bribery case. Tinubu seeks urgent action to safeguard environment. Ranching resurrects nothing north-south sentiments in Senate. Okay, building collapse. Stakeholders applaud new move by Lagos. Strikers Igboho's 500 million defamation suit. Gani Adams tells courts. Okay, so that's all on The Guardian. Let's take a look at the leadership. 1 year after, FG is still struggling with fuel subsidy payments. Okay, private sector records growth amid softest rise in selling prices. Customs intercepts 3.95 billion naira pangolin scales and arrest one. All right, so that's all we'll take on the leadership, and I think that's all we'll take on our dailies this morning. Okay, we have Daily Trust. Let's take a look at Daily Trust. 6 rescued, 14 still trapped, 2 days after mining. Okay, All right, let's see, Daily Trust. Okay, after mining pit collapse in Niger. Northern Senators Mark Ban rejects bill restricting herders' movement. Article tackles Tinubu as FG projects 5.4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy in 2024. Senate approves 300% salary increase for judicial officers. Senate considers bill to exploit market gold. Fuel subsidy in 2020 higher than defense, education, healthcare budgets. Uni Ilorin VC says. 5.7 million people get nutrition support in Kaduna. And finally, Peter Obi distances self from Labour Party's newly created Obedience Directorate. So that's all we'll take on our dailies this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Lilibet, for a job well done. Now back here for the analysis of those headlines from the dailies today. Mr. Akeze, you have heard them read out. From the first paper, let's take the major headline from the first paper, which is, that was the paper before Vanguard. I think
that was the Punch newspaper. Minimum
Punch.
wage.
Yes.
Finance ministers submit templates to Tinubu today. What's your take on that, Mr. Bonny?
Well, what I think is one, the finance minister and coordinating minister of the economy has responded to the directive issued to him by Mr. President. But again, the question that will ordinarily arise from that is, why is it that it is now that such template is being submitted? You see, we have the Minimum Wage Act.
Okay.
So it is a law. And the nature of that law, the extent, the last minimum wage, that's 2019 Minimum Wage Act, expired in April. Why did we wait for it to expire and we have to go into a national strike before action is being taken to review the minimum wage? I think the government, Mr. President, should hold everybody who is supposed to take action in bringing to the notice of the president that this law will expire in April. Thank God the thing didn't expire a month as to the after the inauguration of the government. The government was inaugurated in May last year. So they had a whole 1 year, to send the amendment, because it's going to be an amendment. They are not going to start from the scratch, raising another minimum wage bill, to the National Assembly, so that even before the April's expiration date, the new Minimum Wage Act would have come into effect. That, what we're seeing now, show that that was not done. Again, even when, I think this tripartite committee was set up in February. Okay.
Yes.
February to April too is a fairly, long period, comfortable period for every work to have been concluded. So all this, now that the president has ordered and the does it mean why the negotiations were going on? The federal government team did not have a template. Is that what they are telling us? I can't comprehend.
So you can't comprehend if the federal government didn't have a template
Yes.
while the negotiation was
Yes.
going on.
Were they just buying time, believing that Labour will not be able to do anything?
Perhaps it's possible. But unfortunately for them this time around, Labour is standing their ground. That's, I mean, is what they want.
You know, we said it, this issue came up on this program some time ago, and I told you that my view, that Labour missed it from the beginning.
Okay, how?
They didn't, Labour did not engage timely, and that is why it is just playing catch up.
Okay.
Labour is just playing catch up because from that May last year, if look at the tax. Okay, again you ask the veracity of this approach. They will wait. Labour will be threatening. They will give ultimatum. By the end of
2 weeks.
1 month, if nothing is done, we will go on strike. Nobody will intervene. It will be 1 week to the expiration of the thing. It is when the deadline is expiring tomorrow. That is where the Senate President will wake up. That is where the National Political Security Advisor will wake up.
So what happens from that first day of that ultimatum?
So when the ultimatum is, when the deadline is approaching, and the relevant committee or the platform provided by government, all these people who intervenes in the twilight of everything, why have they not always intervened in good time?
Early enough.
So the thing smacks of a tactics to just keep dragging the whole thing. But in conflict management, you don't use walking away as a tactics or avoidance.
So what do you do?
That's it. You face the issue squarely. You may not have the best of in fact, even when you start, the matter escalates. Of course, after escalation, it will still come down. When you go to war, all the wars that have been fought in the world will end up at peace table. So face the situation as it were, and be honest about the engagement. If you're a third party, if you're a third party agent in trying to resolve the conflict, take the position of a neutral third party. You know, there is no, God has given man dominion over everything in creation, including differences, including resolving of conflict. And the way we resolve conflict is also a mark of our level of development. That is when you talk of human capacity. Because I have always repeated that development is not about skyscrapers and big highways, and it is about the human. To what extent has human been able to perfect their interaction and adaptation to the environment, this includes social environment, regulation of relations, regulation of differences, because we are innately interdependent. And because we're innately interdependent and we are innately different, our human relationships are inherently conflictual. So we must have a mechanism of dealing and making sure that our differences doesn't cripple our progress.
Okay. So I would say, okay, I saw this headline and I was thinking, it says Senate approves 300% salary increase for judicial officers. Now, it was very fast for Senate to approve 300% salary increase for judicial officers. Now, what about workers?
Why is
that
attitude,
that struggle to
approving whatever concerns
to
them?
do well when it comes to workers, because they are like the foundation. You know, imagine all workers go on strike. This country definitely will collapse, because you will not tell me that those in the judicial space will be able to do all that these workers are doing.
Yes.
So why they?
Yes, you see, democracy is about engagements. Democracy is about expositions. You must take positions and, as we interact, like we say in political economy that the wheel of progress is oiled by the interaction between thesis and antithesis. The thesis and antithesis are the differences. We are in a capitalist system. In a capitalist system, wage consideration is naturally residual. It is the last thing that those in the management. So it is that capitalist orientation in business that the colonial masters brought to their territories. And the wages and remuneration philosophy we practice in Africa, it is the colonial masters orientation.
The capitalist system?
The colonial masters orientation, where the colonial masters, who were the political office holder, their remuneration was at a high parity with the ordinary workers.
Okay.
If you visit our what would I call it, our GRAs of the colonial time, there is a pattern of official residence you see, where the main house is in front and the boys' quarter is behind. There is always a distance between the boys' quarter and the distance. Yeah. And the boys' quarter will always be backing the main house. It was a colonial heritage. It's a colonial philosophy. The person who lives at the boys' quarter, the African servants, stewards and helpers to the colonial master.
Domestic staff.
Domestic staff. He doesn't want to get in contact with them beyond just come and do your job
and go.
And go. He doesn't want to be, there's supposed to be a separation to show that
you're not on the same level, you're not lower.
Exactly. Yeah. It's discriminatory. It was a discriminatory architecture we inherited. So, and again, the political office holder under the colonial system, they were tacit means of siphoning resources from the colonial territories. So that was the one they were paid as expatriates, working in foreign land for their home government. So, unfortunately, when most African countries became independent, they inherited the same remuneration structure. Okay. So that is what has continued. That is part of it. Then the capitalist orientation of our colonial masters is that what the ordinary workers need is best subsistence, something that will keep them going. They are not entitled to affluence. They are not entitled to affluence. So that is why they are reluctant when you talk about wage increment. They just think that what you are receiving is enough. So in this part, you're talking of the
animal farm is coming to my mind.
You're coming to the issue
animal farm.
You are coming to the issue of the judiciary. The approval that has been given shows that this guy, they know that workers deserve better pay.
Yeah.
Workers deserve better pay. Of course, the judicial officials are as important as the legislature. They're as important as the top officials of the executive arm of government. So there is no, and if you are talking about, Nigerians are always calling out the judiciary. But if there is also a way you treat an employer, you have naturally set the person on the slippery slope that he can easily fall for inducement. You know, if there is the remuneration could be used as a bulwark against corruption in the service. There's a way you are paid. There's a way your job caters for you. Is that the job becomes your life, and you will be ready to protect it with everything. Okay. You know, you'll be ready to protect it. And there's also, when you are dealing anti-corruption, there is this matrix of the cost-benefit calculus of corruption. What do I stand to gain if I do this thing, and what do I start to suffer if I don't do it? So sometimes it becomes an issue of the existential reality. I am dying of hunger and I've seen money. Let me take it first. If I am caught, good, I'll face this thing and perhaps use part of the money
to pay myself.
But let me be alive first. You know, so a lot of angles. You know, that's what I said. You know, I said it on this program. I said, in doing policy planning, in doing governance planning, you go beyond the ordinary. You do the second order thinking. You do the second order thinking. I think in the subsidy, we are here saying that subsidy is still here with us.
After 1 year.
You know, after subsidy is gone, declaration. So it seemed to me that the second order thinking was not done when that bravado of subsidy is gone was, you know.
So back to the judiciary and the workers' discriminatory, whatever, when it comes to approving their...
No, you will not call it...
It's not discriminatory.
You will not call it discriminatory. It is not a benevolence that the judicial workers have just released. They have been on it. They have been tackling for it. They've gone on strike because of it. They have, you know. Okay. See.
But the workers have gone on strike because of their wages demand.
Yes, they work. See, let me tell you. To me, I think that workers are going to get a better bargain if the different trade unions, the interest groups, trade unions, begin to take, if NUT goes for the issue of teachers, judicial workers, those medical and health workers, you know, do they really depend on NLC to fight for what they want?
No, so you mean individual affiliate unions should...
So I'm sure that they will get more results.
Okay.
Are you sure that most of the decisions that NLC and TUC take at their national level, at their highest level, are you sure they really put the input of the affiliate union effectively into consideration? I don't think so.
That's the question for them. I would like to...
I don't think so.
Answer that question.
And the different categories, because most of the times, if you look at you go to human resources management and see remuneration structures, I think most of the time where the workers benefit more are peculiar fringe benefits that are associated with the peculiarity of their job functions. It's not the blanket the wage, that is the what do you call it, the basic wage. Because all of us are not, that's why when you put the productivity consideration into, yes, I suppose it must be very paramount, that productivity calculation factor must be factored, because all of workers are not doing the same work.
So are you not saying...
And people should be, I'm part of Institute of Human Resources Management. I have always advocated that people should be paid not based on their qualification. People should be paid based on the work they do, based on their productivity.
Productivity, okay.
If you are a medical doctor and you are doing administrative job, you are not into clinical services. There's no reason why you should end the same thing with the medical doctor that's into many clinical services,
okay.
giving the real clinical services. There's no reason. You are not on call. You don't do, just for the fact that you have a degree in MBBS.
Yeah.
If you're a nurse and you are in the ministry carrying fire, you should not be paid the same thing with the nurse in the hospital. Doing those things that the Isaac, kind of gave tribute to in his music, My Night Nurse. Is the one that is around, is by me around the clock.
So the worker in the ministry is not a real nurse. Yeah.
If you are
administrative nurse.
Yes, if you are in a place, maybe at a bus terminal, just doing, you are doing as a first aid nurse. There should be things that are peculiar to your service.
Okay.
So people should be paid peculiarity of service, and it will also make us, the workers, be serious. So because there are people that, whether they work, they don't work,
they get paid.
They just still get paid.
You're right.
It's not helping the economy. It's not helping the economy in any way.
Right.
There are some offices you go to. There are some public offices you go to.
Yeah, they're not doing nothing.
It's not that they're not doing nothing. They are not being engaged. Once you employ people, it becomes your responsibility to engage them, to make sure they are working.
They are not productive at all.
If the worker's responsibility is to report at duty post, it is not the worker's responsibility to assign him or herself duties. So if you employ people, even in labor law, even at the International Labour Convention, redundancy is an employer's offense against labor. You must make sure that the people you employ, because it is when you are working, you are also gaining experience.
Yes, that's true.
It's when you are gaining experience that where the inner strength in you is coming out, and the entire
what about there's no
system.
engagements for the category of workers who have nothing doing, so to say? What do they do?
Why
If the office does not engage them, yes, they were employed.
Then you pay them.
Why would you employ people that you don't have?
In the civil service, there are lots of persons who don't have nothing doing.
Then why did you employ them?
Oh, because there's space for employment, perhaps by demise
No.
of persons.
If there's
retirement.
listen, if there's a space,
Listen.
listen. There is what we call manpower planning in personnel human resources management. You must do your manpower planning and know that this is the manpower need of this organization, of this establishment. Okay. And in manpower need, in manpower audit, you do manpower planning. You also put into consideration job fit and organizational fit considerations. Whom I'm hiring, is it fit into this job? Does he or she fit into this organization? If you use employing people as a kind of gaining trophy, that you go back to your village and say, I am the parent who gave this number of people job, then that is where you will see there are people are there without, because they were not employed because there's work for them to do.
Or they were needed.
That is work. Being needed means that there's work.
There's work, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They were not employed because they were needed. And they
but again, when you look at our system, there are services gap everywhere. So you cannot tell me that the people does not have work to do. Let me give you an example. We have so many laws on sanitation. We have laws on everything. Laws on park management. But these laws are not implemented. So people could be. We have what they call it, deficits, manpower deficits in our schools. In the civil service or the public sector, there's room for secondment. You can move people from where they have enough or more than enough to where there are people are this thing is lacking. Sometimes when they are going to do job recruitment, you hear what they call internal advertisement. They do, first of all, use the people who are already in the system to fill available vacancy. That you now know what is left. You
You're
bring
right,
in
because
from
I
outside.
remember.
So it is all about manpower planning. It
Yeah.
is about policy planning. And
I remember when
implementation.
a Delta State Contributory Health Commission was actually set up, and when there was room for employment, the DG and the chairman, they wanted it to be private sector driven. They wanted to make employment from outside. But the governor, in his wisdom, he said no. We have capable hands in
Exactly.
the civil service.
Exactly.
And we have so many persons in the civil service. Let's take these capable hands to come work with you instead of having another salary and plan for
Exactly.
outsiders who will come in working fresh.
Yes.
Then subsequently we would know where there are gaps and fix it there. And that was
Correctly.
how 60 civil servants were moved from different offices,
Yes.
accounts, admin,
Yes.
the legal department, even
Yes.
media. That was how I was moved, from here to there to man the media.
They also use this approach in the newly established universities.
Exactly. So I think that you're right in that direction. So if we actually imbibe or go this way, we'll have a lot of, we'll be engaging more persons positively.
Yes.
Because these people who were moved from those offices, some of them were actually not doing anything. They said it.
Yeah,
And thank God they came to DSCAC. They were actually not doing anything in the offices where they were. But look at them now.
They're
Putting in their,
working
showing their talents and
Yes.
improving on their,
Of course, you don't
on
keep-
their
when
work,
you
on their
stay in an
profession.
office and you're not
You are-
working,
you are not-
feel
you are
so-
redu- yes.
You can't keep people redundant and be
Exactly.
saying that they are not
Exactly.
productive.
Okay.
How can a stagnant worker or any stagnant object be of any use?
used to you.
Okay, let's
so
take the
this,
next headline. We've spoken extensively on that.
Okay.
Let's take the
Yes,
next headline.
I want us to treat this. Article tackles Tinubu as federal government projects 5.4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy in 2024. We are in 2024. Are we trying to say now that we're still upsetting?
No, let us grab the
subsidy?
context. What did the article really say? What is
Atiku is
he?
always stuck
Okay.
in Tinubu said.
Our former Vice President Atiku Abubakar challenged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stop deceiving Nigerians about his administration's true position on petrol subsidy. Yeah, he said, contrary to Tinubu's public posturing about petrol subsidy removal, the administration had been secretly paying trillions of naira for petrol subsidy. How true is that?
Well, we can't stay here and say whether it's true or
Say we
not.
can say, yeah.
So it is the government that will respond. It is NNPC, Federal Ministry of Finance, the CBN, they are all involved. They are the ones that should respond.
All right. Now, let's take this one from Vanguard. It's a U.S. lawmakers petitions Biden over detention of Binance. That's from Vanguard. Wait, let's get a proper statement there. I think I'm actually very interested in this matter. U.S. lawmakers, and about the second story from Vanguard. U.S. lawmakers petitions Biden over detainment of Binance. I don't know if we can get that story out from Vanguard.
Okay.
Yes.
U.S. lawmakers petition Biden, say Binance executive wrongfully detained
Yeah.
by Nigeria.
As it is in line with the public interest responsibility as representatives of the people. The Congress really means the people. So whoever is in Congress is there in. So if they think that the detention is unlawful, marks of intimidation or anything that is abusive of human rights and liberty, they are free to make such petitions, and the federal government of Nigeria, at that level, it will become a diplomatic thing. The government will look at the claim, and the federal government of Nigeria did not just plug the man into detention. We have our laws. We know when our laws are violated.
So the
Nigeria
lawmakers
is a,
should not interfere.
Nigeria is a sovereign nation like America. If the American government think there's anything the Nigerian government has done or is doing against an American citizen, yes, they come by way of a petition, and there are processes of attending to those things. So there's no, I don't see any big deal about it.
Okay.
It's a normal thing.
All right. So let's take this Abuja Kaduna train. Says vandals reason for derailment. Abuja Kaduna train vandals reasons for derailment, and also passengers stranded as Abuja Kaduna train derails. Now, what's this vandals?
So let's also put it in proper context. What did he say about the vandals? What did the vandals do? Vandals attacked the train, or they vandalized the rail line?
Nigeria Railway Corporation, NRC, has revealed that the technical hitch experienced on the Abuja Kaduna train route on Wednesday evening was due to the removal of the track fastening clips by vandals. This minor hitch is attributed to the removal of track fastening clips by vandals. But however, the NRC management remains resolute towards ensuring the safety of valued passengers in the entire system. Now, recall that a train traveling from Abuja to Kaduna derailed at Asha Station, which left many passengers stranded in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. My concern now is, this is actually a good project, you know, helping the transportation system to be easy, or to go easier on for people. Now, we keep hearing vandals
Even
on the rail station.
Happened here in Anambra State, to the second Niger Bridge. What has happened?
Okay, yes. That iron stuff was removed.
Yeah, that was,
now, why do we keep having these vandals, you know?
At these major projects?
Yeah, especially these train stations. Yeah, what could actually be done to stop it? Is it to position the forces there? I really don't get how it's going to work. What exactly is their aim, vandalizing the rail station, the railways?
Well, they are not here with us in the studio to answer why they are removing this. So we could just hazard some guess and piece together conjectures. Those things are metallic materials, so it could be those metallic materials
That they are after.
They're after it. They need, of course, sell and make some money. Like what you're talking is the protective rails on the second Niger Bridge. You know what those rails are used for. So you can see. You remember when the last administration they wanted to mount street lights on the highway, the Lagos, Asaba, Benin Expressway. You saw the level, how those poles were vandalized.
But I thought security men are actually put there to man those things. Or are there no security men put in these areas? Because if there aren't no security persons,
we even need security cameras to watch those places.
Well, I'm beginning to suspect that there are insiders who are being part of this. But these are government projects.
That is why I said we are just going to hazard some guess and piece together conjectures.
Constantly.
So it's just to say they put every criminal knows his act. And the success of a criminal is his ability to be ahead of the system. When a criminal is caught, it is when his tactics and strategy are busted. So when they do the things, look at the nature of the train lesson. In Nigeria, most of our rail tracks pass thick of forests.
Yes.
How are you going to monitor?
Cameras. We're talking about cameras.
Installing
fine. Cameras.
If cameras,
somebody will be somewhere monitoring.
Yes.
Somebody should be manned. We're talking about
one thing is seeing the act going on. Another thing
Tracing.
is being able to apprehend or to stop the rail track that passes through very thick forest, a very long stretch of bush and aspect of, listen, the detecting device detects it at maybe some, like, well, okay, let us take example that, let us be graphical now, that from here to Ugeli there's a rail track, and some of the track has to pass through some bushes, you know, not following the real normal road. Some bushes to come out to Kwale, enter bushes again, come out at Ozoro, and perhaps the one happening between Kwale and Ozoro, vandalism is detected. And do we have the mechanism that an enforcement team will be able to arrive there in good time? To, I think our best,
not easy.
It's not.
Yes,
it's
we,
it's
that was.
You could stay long in removing those.
That's why I
tracks.
said, do we have the mechanism that will be able to intervene in good time? We are talking about mine, this thing collapse in Niger State, yeah. And that up till now, effective rescue, search and rescue operation has not been executed. So you also look at our capacity for emergency response.
It means the country is not
So
yet
I think
responsible for these things.
I think that when we are planning, we should put all those things into in dealing with crime. Prevention is better. The prevention, you know, is more effective when you put into when you reduce to the barest minimum the chances of those crimes happening. They are better than, you know, when you depend on enforcement. You know, that's curative measures. No. So there are things we have to. Supposing when we're doing our highway planning, we do it in such a way that our highways should go, there should be no long distance between our highways and our rail tracks. I think it will go a long way to help, you know, in nipping this issue of vandalism of the highways in the board.
Okay, now you are saying because we don't have the capacity to actually track these vandals, that's why they constantly do this. All of this one that happened in Niger Bridge, it's not in the bush, it's not in the forest.
Yes.
It's out there.
No, we're just looking at it holistically.
Yes.
The second Niger Bridge, again, is in that of the second Niger Bridge, you can say a station surveillance team at both ends of the bridge make sure that the lightings are effective. It is not the solution to the type of solution that for just short bridge that you use for, you know what a rail track, how long a rail track is. So we're looking at the whole thing.
And the second Niger Bridge, there's a police post just by the first Niger Bridge. There's a police
for
post
people
there.
to have that confidence, that's, I mean, let me not use this word, okay, for people to be able to go there and
The
still
boldness.
the boldness.
Yes.
You
That's why I
know?
said,
And this is it's just like this is happening at the same time because
They're happening at the same time.
the Kaduna and even this Itakwe train station also.
Around the same period.
That's
Yeah.
why I said we just have to step up our surveillance capacity.
It's like you just
In
give them
dealing
the idea
with
that
it.
these things are actually making waves in the market,
In the
and
market,
everybody is
and-
going to take, you know.
All right, no,
We need to
Sometimes
protect
too,
our project.
those things. Okay, was it yes? Which day I was reading about the prevalence of the stealing of catalytic converters of vehicles in America. you know, that it became a very big issue in like a state like California in 2022, even up to 2020. So what the lawmakers, okay, they just said, okay, as part of preventive measure, that every catalytic converter must have a registration like a code, like the what they call it, engine and chassis number of the vehicle it came with, so that it could be tracked. You know, there were several legislations, and that immediately they did that. In a matter of months,
It's still in stock.
they did this, the crime reduced. So you use preventive strategies in dealing with it. If they tell you, if some of you, CNN gives you the all the fixes about America, would you know that stealing catalytic converters of vehicle was a very popular, highly prevalent crime in America? Okay. You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
But it was a research this thing that an insurance, criminal insurance research team that brought it to the open.
All right, now there's this story. Please, on Vanguard, yes. You are going to phrase that headline properly. Pension group, talking about inflation. Pension group pushing for something that has to do with inflation on the Vanguard.
Let me get the context.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want her to, because I want to find out what concerns pension group and inflation. You know, it's from the Vanguard. I think after U.S. law.
Pension group
yes.
pushes for inflation indexed bonds. It says Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, PENOP, has recommended inflation indexed bonds for investment of pension assets to hedge against the valuation of the assets. According to PENOP, issuing inflation indexed bonds will also protect the savings of the country from inflation and devaluation.
Good. Is it that's why I said there's an orientation we need to imbibe in Nigeria, that once we finish elections, we should tune our minds to development. Development has to do with policy formulation, policy implementation, and that is where everybody is involved. They are now talking from their own point of view, from their own angle. They should put this suggestion, before the National Planning Commission, before the fiscal and policy management team of the federal government, and perhaps it could be one of such policies that we have. When we have a TED fund now, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, many people may have forgotten the origin of that that fund. It was actually the university lecturers, AXU, that mooted the idea during the Babangida's era, when they talked about this issue of funding of universities, and the federal government said there is no money. And they said, we have a template, how money could be generated to intervene in this sector. And at the end of the day, the government side and the academic side and the side, they put heads together, and today we have, that was how we have something that is called Tertiary Education Trust Fund. And this is, if you go around our campuses and you can see the projects being done, marked state fund
Yes.
projects.
Yes.
Like I said, at the last point when you asked me about the student loan, I said, if you ask me, because we have to be historical when we are doing planning. I think it was Jeremy Bentham who said that the problem of the world has never been how to make good laws, but rather how to make the laws that will not be corrupted by the passions of men. You know, our experience in Africa is that any pool of fund put together is a boutique. You know? So, I just hope the students, because all the people, I have listened to all the people who came from the government side to defend the student loan scheme. All their example is how it has worked in the US, how it has worked in other places. They have not showed us where it has worked in Africa. They have not showed us where we have piloted it in Nigeria, and it worked. What are we talking about? And I ask, what problem is the student loan going to solve? Access to education for the Nigerian children. Access in the house that you will now have the money to pay your
child to
Just
school.
like we
Your
when we started the morning ride, we talked about having access to funds for education.
Yes.
So that
Okay.
we don't
Now
see education as a scam.
I now ask, okay, when school, whom are you paying those charges to? Is the schools, institutions, Abi? Okay. So, why not give this money? What the schools need this money to run the school, to manage the school, the universities, the libraries, the laboratories, payment of workers, and all other sundry expenditure outlines to meet them. Fine. It is when the students pay. It's believing that when the students pay, the schools will have money. So, and you are passing this money to the students for the students to pass it to the universities. So why not give the money to the universities? And because you are giving these universities money, the universities can now say, okay, you are supposed to pay this, without government intervention, school fees will be 100,000 naira. But government, out of that 100,000 naira, government is paying 80.
Yeah.
So you are now only paying 20.
20.
So that government will hold the institutions
Responsible.
accountable. The government will send auditors to find out how universities have utilized. You are giving me, unemployment is high in Nigeria. When I take student loan, I go to school. I have to pay when I start earning. When you are leaving school in Nigeria today, you don't know when you are going to get employed. Or is there any arrangement that anybody who accesses the student loan will be provided employment immediately on graduation so that the person will be able to pay back?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my own. So if the goal is to make the great access, then fund the universities and let their fees be such that on the average nobody can afford it. The Anambra example, when they handed over schools to the missionary, they gave these missionaries grant so that the schools, they will not charge high school fees.
That's crazy, yeah.
Our children from here went to CKC Onitsha, went to DMGS, went to the Holy Ghost. We saw how much they were paying for boarding school compared to what private schools were charging. And we still, the performance, what they are coming out with. So I think there are models who can. So if the pension managers have, we should engage with the government, talk to the right government actors and policy makers, and see everybody is in. It is a service for you to contribute ideas, workable ideas, to the government, not just attacking and fight. That's why I said we take our elections too far.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
very, very much. Are you taking your story?
I wanted us to quickly look at this Army Abba killings. Reps order probe as Army dismisses claims of reprisals in Southeast. Yeah, the House of Representatives have asked security agencies in the country to carry out a comprehensive investigation into the circumstances leading to the murder of soldiers by yet to be identified gunmen. Adopting a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Abubakar Yaliman, the House asked its committees on defense to interface with the armed forces to ensure a comprehensive investigation to fish out those responsible for the acts. My question is, what exactly is these gunmen? Why
It's becoming
targeting?
so common,
Why targeting
targeting
soldiers?
yes,
Army.
soldiers.
Look at the one at Okama community. Soldiers as well. Army. Now this. I know in the past years it used to be the police station
And
being
now
burnt,
they've
and
extended that
now
to
they've
the army.
extended. Now, what is really their hate towards the army? These are people that are actually there.
Why are they even easy prey to these
yeah,
people?
yes, you know.
Why? Because
You see the way they are being killed. You ask yourself, it's like they sit down, strategize on how to go invade this place, and then,
even
kill
as
these
if
people.
there is an insider giving them
The
information.
killing
on
is
how
bad. I
to-
saw one of the videos, and it was something else. Why
You see, it is very, very unfortunate. It is a thing that every well-meaning citizen of Nigeria
should be concerned
should
about.
come and decry. You see, if we get to a level where our military men are taken down by people you refer to as unknown gunmen,
Non-government.
it is a very, very dangerous trend. The military remains the last line of defense
Exactly.
Yes.
of a country. The military remains, when you talk about sovereignty of a country, when you talk about a government, you are talking, when you talk about the state, you are talking about the authority, the authoritative power for the monopoly of the apparatus of coercion. So if anybody begin to share this authority with the state, then something is wrong. In fact, that is, you are now teaching to the brink of a failed state. Because you are now, how can a state coexist with a dual power structure on the capacity for the deployment of the instrument of coercion? This is the power, this is the authority, that is the exclusive preserve of the state for the security and well-being of the nation. You cannot be the authority over the security of life and property when you are sharing the instrument of carrying out with other authorities. Your authority has been hampered. So if we, and the journalists will keep catching it as unknown government, and it makes it look like that some ragtag people are doing it. It is not. This thing is being carried out by terrorist groups, and they must be called what they are. You say the reps call. I'm not sure the armed forces of Nigeria is such that will be waiting until they are prompted by the National Assembly
to do something.
to do something. I'm not sure. I wouldn't believe that.
Yes, that's true.
I wouldn't believe that. The National Assembly have done what they are doing what they are doing to also show that they are concerned. But I don't think that is the order or suggestion or resolution that the armed forces will be waiting for. Of course, the chief of army staff has said they are going to be fierce in going in a response. And that is what it should be.
I just pray that they go after the right
That is what it
persons
should
and
be.
not the wrong
You see,
persons. That's just it. Let them go after the
Well,
right persons who are the perpetrators of this crime.
you see
Because at
where-
the end of the day, no innocent
citizens
people will,
exactly
will
be
be
the
made
ones
to
that will be-
suffer.
Yeah,
From
if you understand the psychology of military operations, that's why there's difference between police operation and military operation. I was discussing with a friend. They say a friend, a police officer. I said, "You bloody civilians." I laughed. I said, "You are the number one civilian." A police officer is not a military man. So, but that is his own. You know, we have because of our years of the repressive nature of the society in which we are socialized. Everybody seems to be macho. It is a pride to be able to exhibit some macho tendencies, capacity, So that is why you will see our vigilantes and the community vigilantes. They want to take up the garb of full military men. The work of vigilante people, man, is like their name is vigilance, surveillance. They are like whistleblowers.
But we still have to give it to those
Contribute.
vigilante people.
It is a role. See, the greatest role in policing is the role of providing information. That is the greatest role. Go to Robert Peel's principles of policing and see how he defined policing. All of us are police of our societies. Yes. It's just that there are men who are paid, as well they wear uniform to carry it. They are carrying the job that is meant for all of us. So the first and the most effective way, the aspect of policing is information.
Right information.
Right information.
Right
Yes.
information, timely information. So if we get to the point where ordinarily, even we are not supposed to be seeing our military men everywhere.
Even on the road.
So it shows the
They
way
should be sacred
it shows
by
the way
to them.
what our country has become. Our military people are so mixed with the civilian population as that they are becoming common.
People even get scared of the military men.
For now.
When you hear military, you
You
run,
just
you
hear
hide.
it.
But now,
Until
They
you
are
hear the
military.
martial music, you will never see military men on roadblocks.
Now they went and dine with the
Once you
civilians.
see,
And
once you
they get
see,
information from
once
them
you see military
on how to
men
attack
on
them.
roadblocks, you know that something fundamental
It's happening.
is wrong security-wise.
yes, and they have been hinted.
So the security situation we have now has kept our military men on the street almost permanently. And it is also having their consequences for the military as an agency of the state. And you talk about the issue of innocent citizens,
Okay.
And that's where I was going to, that the difference between police operation and military operation. There is hardly a situation where you have real military operation and you will not have collateral damage. So that's those civilian casualties you are saying. That's what we refer to as the collateral damage in military balance. Unintended consequences.
They can't be avoided.
You see, that's why I said when you go into security operation, military operation is like a war situation. You can never completely factor what is going to happen, because the military is going to be responding fiercely with the situation on ground.
Yes.
And you know that the terrorists, some of the time, they want to use a human shield.
Yes.
They can run into hospitals, believing that you will not attack hospitals because of the level of unintended casualties. They will use it to shield themselves and continue so that they will be alive to continue with their heinous crime against society.
So the military will have to be brutal in every.
So that is where you see that if, like I said, these things are more effective when they are nipped in the bud. These things are more effective when they are nipped in the bud. The state has capacity for information gathering.
My problem is
We have criminal. We have we have the military.
That's what he's saying now, that this might not be ordinary citizens attacking them. This could be terrorists. This could be terrorists trying to maybe carry out a vengeance mission.
That military uniform
Yes.
has the same significance as our national flag. That military uniform. So when you attack a military man, you have attacked the nation.
Country.
You have attacked the country. Do you know what it costs the nation to train a military officer? And you just come and gun them down.
And take
No,
their ammunition.
Nigeria
That's another scare.
Nigeria has become a sociological absurdity.
With elsewhere.
You know, they have sophisticated arms.
Yes,
so
exactly.
they might actually be gunning for those arms.
Those arms, yes, to commit their
high
crimes. Yeah,
crimes.
it's possible. That's one area to
Anybody
be
who
vulnerable.
attacks a military officer, a police officer, a uniform, has attacked the nation. And the state should go all out
To apprehend.
against such elements. We have not finished with Okwama. You had, is it the one that is happening in
Even
the
the
north?
faces now, those suspected persons now, nothing has been heard about them. Remember, they said some suspected persons.
And so you say unknown. They say they are unknown men. So the first thing you got to do is to unravel.
The unknownness, so to say.
To unravel the identity, because at the point of reporting, it said unknown. Some people said people suspected to be. So you cannot even say it is ECN,
IPOB or ECN.
ECN, about they call them, or IPOB. It says suspected to be.
Okay, let's
So
talk
we just pray we're able to do something, and whatever the problem is, however we're going to solve it, let it be solved. But again, we should also remember there is no nation without criminal elements.
Okay, let's talk about food.
So it is the state, it is the capacity of state to deal with both direct and indirect way of curbing crime. There are different ways of curbing crime.
Yes. Finally, let's take this one on food security. You know, from the nation, Lilibet, Obasanjo to governance, that we should focus more on food security. I mean, this is one area that affects everybody. I mean, man must work. You know, so perhaps these people committing this crime is out of hunger.
See,
you know that they actually carry out this crime. You know, I mean, slaughtering soldiers, committing one crime or the other. You know, hunger can make you misact. You know, so let's talk about food security and how we can put food on our table.
Yes, of course, it is important. There's nobody that will argue that one.
You
see, there are basic things. Okay? There are basic. When people talk about protection of life and property, the thing is just about physical security. That's police and military security. No. The highest security is the social security. The highest security is the social security. If you don't deal with social security, the magnitude of physical security that will confront you will be overwhelmed. That is exactly what we're saying. It's partly exactly what we're seeing. To tackle social security means you have to tackle well-being, the issue of well-being of citizens. Crime is rooted in, there's a correlation between crime and the well-being of citizens. Well-being in the level of enlightenment and education and enlightenment. Well-being in terms of engagement, gainful employment. Well-being in terms of societal ethics. Societal ethics. If you, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are levels of, there's crime at every strata of society. Fela Kuti will say it is the armed robber that requires gun to rob. It is armed robber that requires gun to rob. The permanent secretary requires pen to rob. The imam or the bishop requires persuasion. But it is, to what extent do the citizenry have the capacity to earn their living? Under what social orientation? What is their ethical standard? What is the value they live for? What is, all those things are part of. When any nation neglects how people put food on their table, how people are educated, at least basic education, that nation is headed for permanent insecurity.
So what's the solution in this sentence to food security?
Yes, we must have a policy directed to mass production in agriculture. Farmers should not be looked at local, let's say local farmers, villagers. And there are people, in fact, it is a mark of poverty to be a farmer. You are still working with the hoe and cutlass of farming. So farming should be made a vocation. There should be the policy framework to make farming attractive. I put a small cooperative together in 2016.
As a wrap up.
Okay, so it's just for us to policy-wise commitment and show commitment into agriculture. It's agriculture that produces food, nothing more, nothing less.
All right, thank you very much, Bani Akeze, for enlightening us so much. We have not just analyzed the headlines, but we've learned a lot from you being here. Well, we have more coming your way on Morning Ride this beautiful Thursday. Go nowhere, please. Thank you. Thank you for staying tuned. And right now we have another guest we'll be talking to on revenue matters, tax payment. You know, a lot of people evade their payment of tax. And why do they evade tax? And why is it important for us to pay our taxes? These are more we shall be finding out from our guest here, Comrade Agunwa, convener, DYC Delta Youth Coalition. You welcome to our studios. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
here.
you.
Okay, Liberty State here. Yes. Now, well, looking at taxation matters. First of all, what is taxation?
Well, taxation is a responsibility of a civic person to pay a certain revenue to government, which will in turn help the government to, dish out the infrastructure needed to drive the economy of a federal government, state, or the local government.
Okay. Speaking about tax now, we know people default.
Yes.
So how do you get to fish out these persons? Let's take Delta State as, for example, is very large. How do you have the data of these persons that default, and what do you do to them?
Okay, for me, I believe that in taxation, we, the people who pays the tax, will first of all understand the jurisprudence of the authority that manages or collect these taxes, and we should equally know that collection of tax is a different category,
Okay.
which is the FIRS and IRS, and of course the local government taxes. So the FIRS is for the federal government,
yes.
and the state has it, and the local government. So we must understand the category first, because when you talk about tax evasion, you might be paying wrongly. Okay, I'll use a case study of a limited liability company or a public liability company, PLC or LTD. So in cases like that, taxes from this type of corporate entities goes to the federal inland revenue.
Okay.
So, and if you're operating a business and somebody comes and say you should pay tax, you must understand the particular tax
You're paying.
you are paying for,
Alright.
so that you will not do what they call double taxation. Then if your business is not also a limited liability or a public liability, it's just a business name, then you don't have any business with the FIRS. You pay to the state government.
Does the state have its own name?
You say?
Does the state have its own name?
Yeah.
The federal is FIRS.
Yes.
What about the states?
IRS.
Okay.
That is the Inland
Inland
Revenue
Revenue.
Service. There is this SIRS, that is State Inland
Inland
Revenue
Revenue
Service.
Service,
So, yes. So you must understand all this. Failure to understand this, you end up paying taxes to the wrong channel. And reverts of taxes paid is always an issue. So
Yes.
we must be careful. Then there are many sections or different types of taxes that people pay, and you must equally identify the ones to pay to the local government. These are the things you do to drive the economy, and of course make much provision of funds for the government to run a smooth governance. So that's that for now.
Okay.
What
Now-
about, okay.
Okay, go ahead. All right, let's look at illegal collection of tax and what we can do about it. I mean, for those who are involved in illegal collection of tax, how do you know? Because I know that there's some persons who have shops or offices, and persons from, let's say, local governments come knocking on their doors that they're supposed to pay this amount of money. Before you know it, another group will come knocking on your door that you're supposed to pay this levy or so of tax. So what do we do about it? How do you identify the fake and the real ones?
Well, it's very, very simple.
Okay, but before you go, are they even allowed to go to houses to collect
Yes, some
tax?
do.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
come to that. First of all, we must be knowledgeable enough about issues of taxing. And that is why we as group, we always sensitize, the public on their rights, the limits at which they can go, to react over issues like that. First, you must look at the authority that gives the tax collector the power or right to collect tax. Yes, Section 104 of the Tax Act has given them such powers to collect tax. But there is another section of the law that, frown at the way and manner at which taxes is being collected, and is equally total violation, which might end up bringing such tax collector to, to be liable in 3 years imprisonment or 50,000 naira fine, or both, as the case may be. No tax collector has the right to block the road in the name of collecting of taxes. No tax collector has the authority to harass, embarrass, fight, or display any unwarranted character to a taxpayer in any form. As such, is total violation of the power that gives such tax collector the authority to collect that taxes. So if, for instance, that you approach a taxpayer to remit, there are processes, legal processes to follow. When such taxpayer has declined, you don't have a problem. You go back to your drawing board. You initiate a legal process by putting up an application, a motion ex parte. Collect it, then you will be armed with the legal authority to go and seal the particular premises and possibly collect other penal charges, as the case may be. Because taxation is not a tax force.
Okay.
Two different words.
Yes.
That you are a tax collector does not make you a tax force. So you must abide and work within the ambit of the law. There are ways you go about taxes, and the people who pay the tax, if you enter a bad luck that day, you don't enter wahala. You might end up paying for what you have never bargained for. So we must be careful on the way we do that. Then, two, illegal collection of tax could tantamount to bringing the government, the integrity of a particular government down. So the government itself must monitor and ensure the kind of persons they issue authority to collect taxes on their behalf. Because government has the authority to issue or delegate to persons or companies on their behalf collect certain taxes. If such a person who the authority is being given to goes about doing it the wrong way, it will bring issues that might continue lingering, or possibly even the taxpayer might bring an injunction from the court to stop the entire process. Yes.
Okay.
So we must be careful on the persons we send to the field. Some corrupt tax officers who are in the field, instead of them to serve the notice accordingly,
Yes.
they would, fail to do it at the right time on their own negligence, and now serve you with a backdated document. Are you getting me?
Yes.
When they backdate the document and serve you, it will assume that you are violating the tax.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's not supposed to.
So what does one do in this scenario?
When you receive such issues, what you need to do immediately is to approach the authority if they have,
Which authority now?
that is the tax collecting authority,
Okay.
to know if their office is there, you go to their office. If their office is not there, you find a legal means to approach the matter, because this will be the only way to save you from the illegal approach. Do you understand? Yes, the tax paying might be legal, but the way and manner and the process at which the notice was served could be fraudulent, and you can challenge that in court. And if you do, definitely the person or persons who are involved in such acts will be severely dealt with according to the law.
Okay, fine. What of those who evade paying tax? What happens to them?
That is the worst. You don't evade paying of taxes, because there are laws that equally make you to either you pay, or when you invade, you face the penalty. As a prudent citizen, you are supposed to pay your taxes accordingly.
Okay.
And that will help you to have a voice, because when you are a taxpayer, you will be able to speak, because your tax you pay is what the government used to drive the economy.
Thank you very much. We're going to come back to continue with this discussion.
Yeah, it's a vast
Definitely, it's a very
topic.
vast topic. We'll continue. Thank you, Comrade Chibuzo Agunwa, for coming here.
Thank you very much.
We'll have you again, like I did say. Well, we have our last segment for Morning Right this Thursday. Yesterday was the World Environment Day. We're going to be talking about that in the jiffy. Go nowhere, please.